understand that if you've never been to Northern Tier before and you look at a picture like this of a loaded whale bag, that the whale bag looks ginormous and there's plenty of room for whatever you want to put in it. But the reality is quite different.
Hey, real quick, right before we jump into this video, if you'd do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Also, thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you'd like to be notified of future videos, please hit that bell icon. Have a great day and enjoy this video.
I want you to remember something. Backcountry paddling is a volume problem. When looking at pictures of how large whale bags are, and they are very large, it's easy to not be able to comprehend how much stuff has to fit inside that whale bag. And all that space gets consumed very quickly. What's easy to forget is that up to 3 boat crew members are putting their personal gear inside of one whale bag. And if you haven't watched my packing list video, or my video on how to load a whale bag, you should, as both of these videos start to show you how this space is consumed so quickly. If you aren't careful to choose and bring the correct personal and crew gear, then you could have a difficult decision to make once you arrive at Northern Tier. And that decision is that you may not be able to bring with you into the backcountry everything that you brought to Northern Tier, because the whale bag isn't large enough to hold it. To avoid this problem, start with only bringing exactly what's on the packing list. Then, the larger items need to be small, very small. So let me walk you through this. Assuming you're only bringing what's on the packing list, then there are 4 items that we need to discuss. And those items are your sleeping bag, your sleeping pad, your puffy jacket, and a camp chair, assuming you bring one. I brought a camp chair because I got tired of sitting on the ground, even in my Crazy Creek chair, and I'm not going to use my life jacket as a seat. If these 4 items are small, then you shouldn't have any issue bringing all of them. Now that we have the 4 items to focus on, let's go through each of them individually. All right, let's talk about your sleeping bag. So bringing a sleeping bag to Northern Tier is, you have to bring one. It's not an option to leave one at home. Okay. The trouble is, most of us that have been in the scouting program probably have a great sleeping bag for weekend campouts or perhaps even for backpacking. However, that sleeping bag may be too big for Northern Tier, and your sleeping bag tends to be the bulkiest thing that you bring, meaning that your sleeping bag will take up the most space. For Northern Tier, for paddling in the summer, the good news is it doesn't get as cold most times as, say, in the mountains at the same time of year. From about mid-June to mid to late September, the average low temperature will be a very comfortable 40 degrees or so. And it can get colder, especially in the earlier months or the later months. It can get cold enough to snow. So what is the ideal temperature rating for a sleeping bag you would take to Northern Tier? Well, to be able to meet the criteria for most people, you really just need a sleeping bag that will keep you warm at about 40 degrees. If it gets colder, just wear your puffy jacket inside your sleeping bag. And, of course, make sure you're wearing your beanie hat. That should get you through a colder night. But you need to know you and what you need to sleep comfortably at about 40 degrees. Okay? So what size sleeping bag to bring? Well, in a perfect world, your sleeping bag would fit inside of your 35-liter dry bag at the bottom, sideways, not top to bottom, and you would still have room for all of your other personal items. In a perfect world, also including your sleeping bag and pad and your puffy jacket. That would be the ideal goal. Now, if that doesn't work, okay, you still have options. You'll just need to pack the whale bag slightly different. Like the sleeping bag and pad, if they won't fit inside your 35-liter dry bag, they'll just get put inside the whale bag, but separate from your 35-liter dry bag. But the goal would be able to put your sleeping bag inside your 35-liter dry bag, where it'll stay better protected and offer more protection also from getting punctures, but also from really from just getting wet. Okay. So how big does it need to be? Well, again, in a perfect world, it would fit inside your 35-liter dry bag. In a perfect world, it'd be anywhere from the size of 2 to 3 Nalgene bottles, or maybe the size of a small cantaloupe, or a medium-sized cantaloupe, which is a piece of fruit about, I don't know. It's like one of those small little basketballs, not a full-size basketball, one of those little small basketballs. The good news is you'll have your 35-liter dry bag at home, and you also have a sleeping bag probably already, so you can figure this out before you leave for Northern Tier. Okay, so if you have to buy a sleeping bag for Northern Tier, the good news is it doesn't have to be fancy. Okay, meaning it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It just needs to be small, very small. If you look online, you will find a lot of choices. I know REI offers some choices. There are different brands out there, brands that you probably will recognize. If you have a choice, I'd probably try to stick to REI or another brand that you know of, somebody that actually has tested it per standards, that it will be rated for a true 40 degrees. And that would be for males. Again, you have to figure that out. But if you look around, you will find a lot of choices, and you have to look at the volume size, okay? Now, your sleeping pad also has to be small. In a perfect world, your sleeping pad would also fit inside of your 35-liter dry bag, along with your sleeping bag and puffy jacket and all of your other personal items, okay? To get a sleeping pad that's small, it needs to be inflatable, so not a self-inflating air mattress. Because a self-inflating air mattress has foam inside, and they are not able to be the ideal size, okay? If you get an inflatable air mattress, ideally it'd be about the size of a 1-liter Nalgene bottle. You can bring a larger sleeping pad, but like the sleeping bag problem, it would just need to be packed outside of your 35-liter dry bag, okay? At the end of the day, you won't know if all this is going to fit inside of your whale bag until you arrive at Northern Tier and you get your whale bag for the first time. So as soon as you get your whale bag, make sure everyone packs your whale bag as soon as you can, so that you can figure out if something won't work, and then you have to start making choices as to what you can bring. Now, can you bring a self-inflating air mattress or a foam air mattress? Absolutely. Plenty of people have done those for many years. Again, that's just make sure you get one as small as you can. So then think backpacking, all right? And when you get to Northern Tier, just figure out how to pack your whale bag, okay? All right, let's talk about your puffy jacket. Now, your puffy jacket also needs to be small, and it also needs to be synthetic. It needs to be synthetic, as you may end up wearing your puffy jacket in the canoe to stay warm, But if you roll the canoe or accidentally on a portage fall in the water, your puffy jacket, because it's synthetic, will still retain some loft and keep you warm. And that's a lifesaver, okay? In a perfect world, your puffy jacket would fit inside of your 35-liter dry bag along with everything else to keep it dry. This means that your puffy jacket should, again, be about the size of a 1-liter Nalgene bottle in a perfect world, okay, when it's compressed. All right, let's talk about a camp chair. And when I say camp chair, I'm talking about something very small and very light, okay, such as a very ultralight camp chair that you would take backpacking. And there are a lot of chairs out there to choose from that are about a pound, maybe slightly more, and they're very small, okay? Another option is to use a Crazy Creek chair that doubles as a canoe seat cushion. Your chair will not go inside of your 35-liter dry bag, okay? Do you have to bring a camp chair? Well, absolutely not, okay? If you had to make a choice at base camp to save space, if I did, the first thing I'd probably dump is my chair. And then I would just end up sitting on my life jacket, okay? I can tell you from experience, that isn't awesome as an adult. That gets old, all right? So to close, packing the whale bag is a problem with volume. I'd like to say it's not a weight issue, but that can be a little misleading. Does weight matter? Yeah, sure. Everything adds up. Should you be overly concerned about bringing something ultralight? No, absolutely not. What you bring does have to be durable, but it doesn't have to be ultralight. And you can see when you see the cooking equipment that saving a few ounces doesn't matter very much, okay? Also, don't ask your crewmates to carry something overly heavy or bulky. What's a good example of that? A small cot would be a good idea of that, all right? So remember the 4 items: your sleeping bag, your sleeping pad, your puffy jacket, and your camp chair, okay? Compare them to the size recommendations that I've made. The good news is you'll have your 35-liter dry bag with you at the house, so you can figure all this out well in advance before you show up to Northern Tier, okay? Remember, you can always borrow something from somebody. You can save your money. And these items can be used for backpacking. Or in the case of the sleeping bag, you may not be able to take it backpacking, say in the mountains, because it's only rated at maybe 40 degrees, okay? But you can take it to summer camp, okay, if your summer camp is down lower where it tends to get warm. Or you can use it for sleepovers at somebody's house, okay? Just think through this and do the best you can, and then bring with you what you can to Northern Tier, and then walk through this with your interpreter and figure out what's going to work for you once you get your whale bag and you finally can put all this together, okay? All right, so that concludes this video. Have a blessed day.
Hey, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you'd like to support this channel, remember, please subscribe to this channel, tell your friends about it. Thanks for hitting that like button. Everything here is free. I want to give back to the community. I want to give to you everything here for free. I've been out in the outdoors for a long, long time, and it's great that I can be able to give all this information to you. That is what's most important to me. If you would like to give back, I do have a GoFundMe page set up, and you can follow the link. And if you'd like to, if you're a youth with your parents' support, I would gladly accept your donations. Thank you and have a blessed day.